What's up, lovelies? Hope all is going well. So in this video today, I am going to continue on with our 10-part video series around the mistakes you want to avoid for auditions. It's all about the top 10 terrible audition mistakes. And the reason we're sharing these with you is because we've seen them kind of year after year, audition after audition, common theme, our top 10 mistakes, and we want to share them so that you don't make the mistakes, right? So you're going to want to make sure that you check out this video. It is all about audition mistake number 3. So let's go ahead and get to it. So just as a really quick recap, audition mistake number 1 was lack of proper preparation for prep classes as well as auditions. Mistake number 2 was not showing up to workshops or clinics or prep classes before auditions. And now mistake number 3 that we want you to avoid is not doing thorough research on the dance or cheer team that you plan to audition for. So I know that I sort of kind of sound like a broken record all around research, but it is so important that we actually have an entire virtual training session that is over an hour long all around research. It is our sideline prep PREP training. And not only does it go through in detail everything that I'm going to briefly discuss with you today, but it actually also includes a work plan of all of the action steps and all of the things that you should research prior to auditions during your preparation process. So, you know, some people are like, wait a minute, what? Research? Why do I need to research the cheer dance team that I'm gonna audition for? Don't I just need to kind of show up and dance? No, you have to do your research. And why is this? First of all, I want you to think of this as a job interview. Think of your attendance at prep classes and auditions as a job interview. Once you make a team, you are basically a 1099 or a contractor or even a part-time employee of that organization. So wouldn't you do thorough research on the organization's mission, vision, their requirements, their expectations, you know, what their goals are, what their requirements are? Wouldn't you do all of that research and know the history of the organization before you go into a job interview? Well, it's the exact same thing for auditions. You need to do all of that research before you step into prep classes and at a minimum before you step into auditions. You're not gonna just show up and be like, hey, I'm here and I'm ready to dance. Of course, you want to be ready to dance, but you also want to make sure that you do a lot of research before your big day. So, what should you research? Well, I'm so glad that you asked. So let me talk about some of the things that you should research. And you don't have to worry about writing this all down unless you just want to. I am going to include a link below where you can go to the blog post and actually download a cheat sheet, action sheet, a whole bunch of material and resources for you that outlines all of this right there for you. But here are a couple of things that I want you to research at a minimum. Number 1, what's the time commitment that's going to be required for the team? So once you actually make the team, can you withstand the time requirements of the team? So are you going to be available for all of the practices, the appearances, the promotions, and of course game day? So making sure that you really understand the days of the week that they practice and are you available, and if they have a lot of appearances, the number of appearances that are required, and if you're going to be able to fit it into your schedule. So you do not want to accept the position on a team if then a month later you have to step down from the position because you just can't handle the time commitment. So please make sure that you understand that and that you know that ahead of time. You also need to understand what the time commitment is going up to and leading up to auditions. So making sure that you can attend prep classes and workshops and all of that, and that you can fit that into your schedule, which leads to number 2. You have to research when they're holding workshops, prep classes, boot camps, clinics, or anything, what days of week, what time they are, what you're supposed to wear. You want to make sure that you understand all of that so that you are able to attend. that was actually, as I mentioned earlier in this video, one of the other mistakes. Mistake number 2 is actually not showing up to those prep classes. So we really stress the importance of attending those prep classes. So you want to do your research on that to make sure that you arrive on time, you know where you're going, and that you look the part. Number 3, you have to know the audition requirements. So you need to understand what their requirements are as far as technical skills, the dance style of the organization. Are they more jazz? Are they more hip hop? Do they require, you know, calypso turns, singles, doubles, triples? Do they do a lot of across the floor technique? Is it a heavily technique based team? And just making sure that you really understand and you really know what the audition requirements are. Not only that, but what about age? Do you have to have a job? Is there an actual application that you have to fill out? Do you have to submit pictures with your application? Do you need transportation? You know, just making sure that you really understand everything when it comes to the actual audition requirements, and normally all of that information is outlined on the team's website. Number 4, like I mentioned before, the dance style and the technical requirements of the actual team. So really just making sure that you fit the mold and that you're auditioning for a team that you will be successful on. So here's an example. If you do not have a technical dance background and you don't have a double turn, it may not be a good idea to, for example, go out for a very technically based NBA team. Most NBA teams require an advanced level or advanced skill of technique. So just be very mindful of that. Another thing, if you are trained in ballet or jazz and the team is really heavy into hip hop, then maybe you need to find a team that has more of a jazz ballet feel and less of a hip hop feel if that is not a strong suit of yours. Now that does not mean that you can't learn the style and that you can't start taking dance classes and hip hop dance classes and get comfortable with getting low in your movements and getting, you know, the feel of the music and dancing more hip hop. But a lot of times it is a little bit harder of a transition if you are more lyrically inclined and have smooth lines to really transition into more of a hip hop dance feel. It's not impossible. I've seen plenty of ladies who have done it, but those are just the things that you kind of want to think about and make sure that you research ahead of time so that you know what you're getting yourself into when you attend that first prep class. All right, number 5. I mentioned it a little bit before, but the application, you want to make sure that you get a feel for what is required on that application and if a picture is required and what the picture requirements are. So as far as the application, a lot of times they are going to ask, you know, for your educational background, your employment history, your dance experience, if you have any experience in modeling, TV, and definitely any type of community service or extracurricular activities. So for example, if you don't have any civic responsibilities or civic outreach or community service things that you're doing right now, why not start doing that now? Find something that you're very passionate about now and start volunteering your time so that you don't have to leave that section on your on the actual application blank. Now, of course, you don't want to lie, which is why I'm saying go ahead and go to a homeless shelter or go, you know, pass out food. Make sure that you can be truthful in what you're filling out on that application, but making sure that you research it and know what they're asking ahead of time will let you know what things you fall short on, and maybe you can go fill that gap now and start working on that now. Another thing, most of the teams are going to require a picture. So you want to make sure that you know the requirements of the photo, what size they want, if they want a full body image, if they just want a headshot, what attire they want. Some teams want you to be in a swimsuit or audition attire so that they can see your body. All of that, again, is normally outlined on the actual website. So make sure you do your homework ahead of time so that you can properly prepare to fill out your application, as well as to make sure that you have your pictures all lined up and that you get with the photographer and just, you know, really take that portion of the whole audition process seriously. And that's actually another mistake that we're going to go over later on down the road. So just a kind of plug for a video that is coming up. Next, you want to make sure that you research the look of the team. So you want to kind of find out what their physique is. You know, are they more sporty or more glamorous? Do they do a smoky eye or more natural? Do they wear lashes or not? Is their hair longer, or is there a variety of hairstyles on the team? Do they have more brunettes or blondes or a mixture? And you know, just really making sure that you understand what that look is, because while you do want to be your unique you also want to fit in with the current team. So you've got to do that research. You really have to make sure that you go on their website, go on their social media outlets, and kind of look to see what the overall style and imagery of the team is, so that you can look as though you could fit right in as a member of the team with no problem at all. You also want to learn a little bit about the history of the actual cheer and dance team, as well as the organization. With the interview round, they may ask you questions around this, so you just want to make sure that you're really prepared just in case. You also want to make sure that you know about the sport and that you can answer questions about the actual sport itself. So if you're auditioning for the NFL, that you understand how many points you get if there's a touchdown, how many points you get if they kick a field goal, things like that. How many people are on offense versus defense. So really making sure that you have the knowledge of the sports team, and then that particular team that you're auditioning for, what their record was this past season. Have they made it to the Super Bowl, or have they made it to the finals? You know, just making sure that you really understand and can give some information about the team, you know, who your favorite player is and why. So all of that type of information are things that you're going to want to research, because it could come up, you know, for example, in an interview, and you want to show them that you are committed to not just the dance portion of the role, but that you actually enjoy the sport, you know the sport, and you are a true fan of that team. So hopefully that gives you a starting point on some of the things that you need to research. Again, we do have the sideline prep training that goes into detail about every single little thing that you could research, but this is a good list to start off with. If you have any other things that you have found that you've actually researched that came in handy during the audition process, be sure to note them below. Sharing is caring, so please go ahead and share that information with our sideline prep community. As always, give us a thumbs up if you like the video, share, and visit us on social media. We are obviously on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, as well as go ahead and check our website out, sidelineprep.com. And if you have any questions, feel free to email us, info@sidelineprep.com. All right, that is all for now. That was mistake number 3, not doing thorough research on the dance or cheer team that you plan to audition for. And obviously the way to combat that is to do plenty of research. And I gave you a whole lot of things that you can focus on. All right, that's it for now. Hope you have a fabulous day, and I will talk to you later. Bye.